6 signs that show who a person really is. They say a person reveals their true character when they think no one is watching, but the truth is harsher. Sometimes they reveal it right in front of you, and you only notice years later. I once watched someone smile kindly at a stranger while their fingers were still trembling from the cruel words they'd whispered to a waiter moments before. It felt like seeing 2 different souls sharing the same skin, and in that moment I realized that people don't hide who they are. They leak it through the smallest cracks, through tone, through choices, through how they behave when there is nothing to gain. This video is about those cracks and the 6 quiet signs that expose who a person truly is. 1. How they treat those who can do nothing for them. If you really want to know the depth of someone's character, watch how they behave when kindness offers them no reward. It's easy to hold the door open for a boss, to speak politely to someone who can give you a promotion, or to smile when the room is full of people who can elevate your status. But the truth of a person lives in the moments where there is nothing to be gained, the unnoticed moments, the ones that evaporate as soon as they happen. Stoicism teaches that a person's virtue is proved not by the grand gestures that get applause, but by the quiet deeds that no one remembers. I once walked with a friend down a busy street. A man selling fruit approached us, his clothes dusty, his hands calloused, and his voice soft in the way someone speaks when they're used to being ignored. The smell of ripe oranges hung in the air, and I reached for my wallet without thinking. My friend didn't. Instead, he turned his head slightly, the way people do when they pretend not to hear. His face remained expressionless, but his body shifted away just enough to say, "You're invisible to me." I didn't judge him immediately. We all have moments of distraction, but then, 2 minutes later, he warmly greeted someone dressed in expensive shoes, his tone suddenly bright, confident, almost over-polished. And that's when the realization hit with uncomfortable clarity. Kindness is not real if it's selective. Selective kindness is simply ambition in disguise. People show who they are by how they treat those they believe they will never see again. Watch their tone, watch their posture, watch the attention or the lack of it. True character leaves fingerprints on the smallest interactions. 2. Their ability to apologize. There is a moment after someone hurts you where the air feels heavier than usual. It hangs between you like fog, thick enough that you can almost smell the tension, something metallic, like cold iron. That moment reveals a truth. People either soften and step toward accountability, or they stiffen and retreat into the safety of their ego. A sincere apology is not just words. It is posture. It is tone. It is the willingness to sit in discomfort without trying to shift it onto someone else. Some people will say sorry the way a child throws a stone into the grass, quick, careless, hoping you won't look too closely. Others will twist themselves into logical pretzels, explaining, justifying, turning the focus back to what you did wrong. I remember a time I confronted someone about something they said. Nothing dramatic, just a comment that landed a bit too sharply. Their voice immediately lifted in volume, their shoulders tensed, and they laughed in that uncomfortable, dismissive way people do when they refuse to acknowledge they've caused harm. The conversation became less about what happened and more about defending their flawless image. And in that moment, I understood. Some people fear being wrong more than they fear being unkind. A true apology isn't a performance. It's a surrender. It's the willingness to look imperfect. It's the understanding that saying "I was wrong" doesn't shrink you. It frees you. Stoics taught that the ego is the real enemy, and the inability to apologize is the clearest sign that ego has fully taken the throne. Never trust someone who cannot say "I'm sorry" without treating it like a courtroom negotiation. Their pride will always matter more than your peace. 3. their respect for boundaries. You learn everything you need to know about a person by how they respond when you draw a line. Some will nod with quiet respect. Some will adjust, recalibrate, step back gently because they care. And others, they will step right over the line with the confidence of someone who never believed you meant it in the first place. Boundaries are not about control. They are about clarity. But clarity threatens people who depend on your confusion. When you say, "I'm not comfortable with this," watch their reaction closely. Do they listen? Do they argue? Do they guilt trip? Do they turn the spotlight around and blame you for having needs? The worst violators are often the most charming. They speak softly, their tone warm, their presence comforting, yet their actions do not match their words. You say no, and somehow you end up doing it anyway. You set limits, and those limits gradually erode under the weight of their expectations. Before you know it, you're agreeing to things that do not honor you, simply because resisting feels exhausting. The Stoics believed that freedom begins with self-governance. A person who refuses to respect your boundaries is telling you without hesitation that they believe your life should orbit around theirs. Respect is not about agreement, it's about restraint. If someone steps over your boundaries once, pay attention. If they step over them twice, you're being warned. If they step over them a third time, you're being shown exactly who they are. 4. Their reaction to others' success. A person's character becomes painfully clear when someone else wins. You can watch it in their eyes, a flicker of envy or a spark of genuine joy. You can hear it in their tone, tight and forced, or warm and effortless. Some people cheer for you only when your victories stay smaller than theirs. Envy has a smell to it, subtle, sharp, something like burnt sugar, sweet on the outside, bitter underneath. You can sense it when someone congratulates you with words that feel hollow, the way fruit looks ripe but tastes dry. They will smile, but the smile doesn't reach their eyes. They will hug you, but their shoulders remain stiff. Their excitement feels borrowed, not real. The Stoics taught that a person anchored in their own values never fears someone else's progress. Jealousy comes from comparison. Comparison comes from insecurity. Insecurity comes from the belief that others' success threatens your own. But someone with good character understands that someone else's rise does not shrink them. Meanwhile, the wrong people treat your success like a personal diagnosis, as if your achievement says something about their failure. They turn cold. They withdraw. They make subtle comments. They downplay what you accomplished. They pretend not to care when they care too much. Someone who cannot celebrate you is someone who will sabotage you. Pay attention to who claps with both hands, not just who claps loudly. 5. How they handle stress. Stress acts like a spotlight. It strips away the performance and reveals the raw blueprint beneath. Some people become quiet, steady, focused. Others become storms in human form. Their voice sharpens, their patience evaporates, and the smallest inconvenience turns into a full-blown crisis. You can see it in their body language, the tight jaw, the restless fingers, the shoulders raised so high they almost touch their ears. You can hear it in their breathing, shallow, uneven, as if their chest is too small to contain the chaos inside, and it leaks outward. Suddenly everyone around them feels on edge, watching their mood like sailors watching storm clouds. But the Stoics had a different approach. They understood that stress is not the enemy. The reaction to stress is. The real test of character is not how someone behaves when things go their way, but how they behave when the ground beneath them shifts. Someone with good character will slow down, breathe, choose their words carefully even if their hands tremble. Someone with poor character will aim their discomfort outward, firing it at whoever is closest. The truth is simple. Stress doesn't create a person's flaws, it exposes them. And once you see how someone behaves under pressure, you can no longer pretend you don't know who they really are. 6. Their reaction to criticism. There are few things that reveal character faster than being told something they don't want to hear. Criticism is uncomfortable. It touches the ego, pokes at insecurities, and forces a person to confront the parts of themselves they prefer to decorate rather than repair. How a person reacts tells you instantly whether they are committed to growth or committed to protecting their pride. Some people hear criticism like a fire alarm, loud, threatening, something they must escape. Their voice rises, their expression hardens, their words become sharp enough to draw blood. They attack, deflect, blame, or retreat into silent resentment. Being corrected feels like being exposed. Others receive it with surprising calm. They breathe, they listen, their posture softens. And though the feedback may sting, and it always stings, they understand that someone willing to tell them the truth is offering something valuable. The Stoics valued criticism because it acted like a mirror. They understood that you cannot grow by staring only at the polished parts. A person who welcomes correction possesses humility. A person who rejects it possesses fragility. And here's the quiet truth. You cannot build anything meaningful with someone who cannot be told they are wrong. Their pride will always stand between you and a healthy connection. If someone cannot tolerate correction, they will never tolerate accountability. Conclusion. People reveal themselves in ways they don't even notice, through tone, through silence, through how they treat those who offer nothing, through how they respond when life refuses to bend to their will. Stoicism teaches that character is not a performance, it is a pattern. And once you learn to observe those patterns, you stop falling for words and start trusting behavior. In the end, who a person truly is, isn't hidden at all. It's written in the details.